Hey.
Let me ask you something. Why does a cute little cupcake like you want to do a big comedy show like this? Aren't you scared?
No.
Well, if you get scared out there, come back here and I'll make you feel safe. I'll give you a big man hug.
Now I'm scared.
It's a little free advice. You'd do better if you didn't wear a bra.
You're wearing one.
It's a corset. It's French.
No, it's not.
I could use a sandwich.
No, you couldn't.
She is funny. Step right up, out for chicken.
Hey, sexy. Just wanted to wish you good luck tonight. And when you're done, come back here. You and I will go out, you know, a little role play. Maybe you'll play the part of Mount Everest. I'll play the part of a Sherpa. And let me tell you something. I'm spending a lot of time down in base camp.
Seriously? You're all the same.
You got something against dwarves?
No. Men.
You know, you'd be a lot funnier on stage if you didn't wear a bra. Well, let me tell you, you're missing out. Because you know what they say, once you go small, you'll have a thing in... Ah!
Rachel! Congratulations on your comedy special. And you know what? You and I should go out. You and I and you should go out and do some stuff. You gotta let me help you take off your bra. Oh, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Goes to comedy future, baby.
Okay, I could use your advice.
Be funny.
Is that it?
That's it. What do you got? You gotta be funny, man. That's it. Forget it's a man's world. Although I did have to grow a beard because of it. Now I only get the creeps.
Hey, gorgeous. Why don't the three of us...
No!
So look, now's your chance for them to give it all back to you tonight. Or not.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks.
And Rachel, from the heart, always wear a bra.
Got it.
Please welcome Rachel Bradley!
In 1923, the Equal Rights Amendment was introduced, and it said that women were equal to men, which is ridiculous because we're not equal. We're better. Except in pull-ups and rape. Because you guys are crushing those. And it's not fair because it all comes down to upper body strength. So think about it, you guys. It's been 97 years and it still hasn't been ratified. I blame the Kardashians. Because the Kardashians are to women what the KKK was to black people. Poor Kanye. So here's how it went down. In 1975, 35 states had ratified the ERA, and a bunch of housewives that didn't want to work and they wanted to drink all day, they came together and they fought against it, and 5 states pulled their ratification, which proves that women have 99 problems and bitches are all of them. It's crazy, right? So I know you guys are like, well, what areas would not ratify the ERA? Well, there are the states with a lot of unused libraries and alien abductions and, surprise, toilet babies. I'm giving you guys a history and a geography lesson. Okay. So if the map of the United States was the profile of a naked fat man, all the hot, sweaty parts hate women. And that's where I'm from. I'm from the South, born and raised. I love growing up there because I learned great things. I learned things like the quickest way to a man's heart is through faking a pregnancy. And I learned it from good parents, you guys. My dad was a Marine officer during Vietnam, and my mom was a hippie. I was raised by Rainbow and Rambo. But my mom was a Southern hippie, you know, like she wanted peace even if she had to shoot people to get it. And you guys know, hippie movement was all about honesty and truth. Truth that ended up buying my shrink a Tesla. Because I was little, and my brother and I were like, hey, Mom, where did babies come from? And she pulled out medical photos and made us watch a battlefield birth training film called Push Hua. And my brother still can't eat tacos. Earliest conversation I ever remember having with my mom, I was 4. Okay, Rachel, come to bed. 3 things. Number 1, I love you. Number 2, Jesus loves you. And number 3, your daddy never got circumcised. Sleep tight. I was on vacation 3 years ago, snowboarding, and my dad calls me, and I pick up the phone, and my dad's at a 12. Rachel, I'm in the hospital. Oh my God, Dad, are you okay? I'm fine, but let's just say that at 67 years of age, I've finally taken off my turtleneck. Hey, Dad, should I be on your circumcision phone tree? He was on morphine at the time, or as he was calling it, honey from Jesus's titties. Good parents. My mom was an intellectual. My mom, you know, she was a PhD professor. She went to the Middle East to teach art, of course, because terrorists need happy trees too. And my mom, like, she was such a smart person, and so she raised us like that. She actually taught us all to read from the Wall Street Journal. Yes, and so my friends would see monsters in their closet. I saw a bull market and Bernie Madoff. Okay, and Freddie Mercury. Okay, listen, hear me out. Because I accidentally watched the video to Bohemian Rhapsody, and let me just tell you, no 5-year-old is prepared for that level of dental aggression. Not everyone is ready for their close-up. My whole family will tell you that I was in my parents' bedroom like 3 nights a week because Freddie Mercury was in the closet. I was psychic. I had these great parents, you guys, and so they protected me and they helped me not get into crazy stuff like a lot of my friends did. My best friend in high school used to cut herself with a razor. When she was naked, she looked like a harshly graded test paper. Okay, all of you have to stop being pussies. My parents, they were really committed to me turning out to be a good person, you know? And so, as most of you have already guessed, they sent me to this really strict Christian school. This school was really strict, you guys. In order to get tenure, you had to have stigmata. Like, the name of the school was Faith Evangelical Bible Church of the Ecclesiastical Brotherhood of the Jesus and Mary Chain. Gang. So strict. My principal held school assembly nailed to a cross. I'm in 3rd grade in the back of assembly, and this is all I see. All right, 1, 2, Jesus was a Jew. 3, 4, you don't like him no more. All right, shut your prayer holes, all you condemned sinners, grades K through 3. I want to tell you guys, we have a new exercise program. It's called Pilates. For those of you that don't believe in exercise, you may attend Pontius Pilates. Okay, well, some of you need to read the Bible, clearly. First order of business, let me check my notes. Ow. Oh, y'all, we are no longer going to hold a third grade talent show thanks to Rachel Bradley's rousing rendition of sexual healing. I have never seen anyone make the sign of the cross by doing the upside down splits. Pray for her. Next thing, we're going to hand out another copy of the dress code. Please try and remember that shorts are not allowed because it starts with exposed knees and then it leads to exposed VGs and weenies. And that's in Ecclesiastes. Don't look it up. We don't need you to read because people are dangerous when they read. And besides, we take creative license with the Bible. We took the Bible, flipped it, and reversed it. Okay, well, hell, we made Jesus white, didn't we? Because who's gonna trust a brown guy in long robes that looks like he could blow up a 747, am I right? By the way, I don't want to scare you children, but if you wear shorts, you might get AIDS. And look, little Timmy, this is what I want to say about AIDS, because you keep asking me over and over. You know, you're like, what about them innocent babies in Africa? And this is what I'm going to tell you about AIDS. It's a disease for sinners. I don't care how you got it, whether you had a blood transfusion or you had your hiney hotboxed by a homo. Innocent babies, my dingle and dangle. Do y'all know how evil you would have to be as a baby to get AIDS? Clap with me, I can't make the noise. I can feel the spirit moving in this room tonight. I think that this is an important time to bring up my weekly announcement that men were doing just perfectly fine until he was force-fed an apple by a woman, of course. Eve, the original Yoko Ono. Final order of business. Owie, owie, owie. Oh, y'all, listen. Contrary to the overwhelming number of comment cards we have received, we are not going to serve wine instead of grape juice at communion this Sunday. And y'all keep saying, but Jesus turned water into wine. Well, listen, I know that happened, but wine leads to AIDS. Or even worse, it leads to dancing. Oh, yeah, you know, because dancing, sure, that's fine if you don't mind spending eternity shaking your nasty parts on the scalding hot coals of the devil's discotheque, snorting Satan's cocaine, and having your rear end diddled by Beelzebub. Now let us pray. In the beloved baby Jesus' name, he who taught us to love, to forgive, so that we could bastardize that into believing that we are better than everyone else. Can somebody get a claw hammer and get me down? I got a 12:30 with my divorce attorney. Because Jesus hung with hookers, and I was made in his image. Really clear about that, because some of you are like, I very much believe in Jesus. What I don't believe in are the helmet-headed hypocrites that are peddling his product for personal profit. That's my problem. And by the way, 99% of evangelicals hate that bit, and 100% of them are in my family. Do you know what I think the biggest problem for women right now is? It is not men. It always blows my mind when people go, men, especially when a guy says men. No, it's not men. If you think it's men, I'll hold a little seminar in the lobby after the show. It'll last 22 seconds. I'll teach you how to bake a chicken and how to do this hand motion, and we'll go home. And men are thrilled. Look at all of them. They're like, yes, why have you not taught this seminar sooner? Biggest problem for women is not men, it's other women, isn't it? Because women are brutal to each other, aren't we? We are awful. Like, did you hate me when I walked out? Oh, because I hated you. Women, be honest. We rarely are, but pretend to be honest. We don't automatically like other women, do we? No. If you want another woman to like you, you have to earn that. Or pound 5 bottles of Pinot Noir. Then we're in our jammies, we're crying, we're Instagram stalking our exes, we're awkwardly making out. I think women, we're kind of a mess because of that, because we don't support each other and we're jealous of each other. Do you guys know what I really believe? If women could just come together, we could run the entire world. Except, if you look throughout history, whenever women have stood up for ourselves or we fought for our rights, we haven't been respected for that, have we? No, they make fun of us. They don't believe us. They call us names like bitch or even worse, that nasty C word. Crazy. Followed by the phrase, just like your mother. Oh my God. Okay, all of you need couples counseling. But did you hear that? Women, we don't like that, do we? Crazy, just like your mother. No woman wants to be like her mother. That bitch is crazy. You guys, I swore I would never be anything like my mom, so I only lived with men who still lived with theirs. Oh my God, I pickaxe my way to the top of the asshole appellation. Vodka was my Sherpa. I did. To prove my mom wrong, I joined Weight Watchers for 4 years. No, I actually just dated a guy that told me I was fat. What? Weight loss with no membership dues? Why are you oohing that? This guy was a baseball player. He had a 280 batting average on the field and a 880 on my windshield. He had this really moving philosophy about life. If you love something, set it on fire. And he inspired me to take Xanax. Because I found out that Xanax is great in a bad relationship. Xanax is just asshole whiteout. Last fight that I had with this guy was brutal, and it was because I thought that meth binge was a bad excuse for missing Christmas and New Year's and March. And we're fighting, right? And he's mad and he pushes me down as usual. And he's standing over me and he screams, "You're crazy, exactly like your mother." And I stood up off the IHOP bathroom floor. And I wiped the urine-infused maple syrup from my sequin hot pants. And I kneed him so hard in the crotch, he blew a bubble. Look, I'm not condoning that a woman ever kick you in the balls. I'm just reminding her that she can. Such a weird time for women. I think it's such a cool thing that we're in right now. Like the whole Me Too movement, you guys. Harvey Weinstein, Louis C.K. Do you know what blows my mind? Is that women, we are actually called the weaker sex, and yet somehow every day we find the strength to not jerk off in front of complete strangers. The struggle is real. Check this out. Did you guys realize that women of all colors, all of us in this room, did not get the right to vote or own land until 50 years after black men? Yes, that's because white men realized that people they'd enslaved for 400 years would be easier to reason with. We can't get offended, though, can we, ladies? Because we're busy, aren't we? Yes, we are too busy to have rights. We're busy being baby makers and ball breakers and cock teases and gold diggers and arm candy and eye candy and strippers named Candy. I hate strippers. No offense. You know why? Because strippers make me look lazy. Because I'm like, you want me to put on high heels and then climb a pole and dirty bounce you for $1? No. Oh, how about I sit on your couch while you rub my feet and bring me vodka? And not the cheap crap, my daddy didn't abandon me. Here's your $1. I sometimes hear myself when I'm up here. I know I'm a little bit militant. My mom made me this way. My mom made me everything that I am today, the good stuff. I did the bad stuff on my own. And I remember from the time I was a little girl, it was so important to my mom that I knew that I was an alpha chick, and she always told me that what that meant was that an alpha chick would stand up for herself, and she would stand for other women, and she would stand that whole time in 5-inch heels. And guys, if you're wondering if you're with an alpha chick, if you live in 70% fear, yeah. No, man, like my mom was like that because my mom was raised by another alpha chick. My mom was raised by my grandma Jean. My grandma Jean is 86 years old. And that's an age where you have some replacement parts. And a perm that could stop bullets. You know, my grandma lives in a small town in North Carolina where I'm from, and she went and got her eyebrows tattooed on. But they're crooked. And now she always looks suspicious. She is suspicious. Do you guys know anyone in their 80s or 90s? Oh my God, they are suspicious of everything, aren't they? And I thought about it. I get it, because at 86, you can't even trust a fart. 86 and Southern, when she talks, she sounds like a banjo that's been sucking whippets. You know, like a Yamaha, but racist. My God, tell me you guys have these old people in your families that will just say anything. Right? Like they're fun to hang out with, but you might get shot. I think these people have lived a lifetime and they finally retire and they have won at life and they realize that their prize for winning is death. And they know that you're gonna throw them in a box, dress them like a drag queen, and steal their flat screen. These old people aren't incontinent, they just decided. You guys are picturing those, but you're like, damn it. That's my grandma Jean. I was hanging out with her in North Carolina like about 3 summers ago. Turns to me out of dead silence and goes, "Hey, honey, you know them people?" And I'm super LA white and guilty, so I looked for them people. And plus, I drink vodka, so I have the blood clot response of Old Faithful. And I go, "Yeah," and she goes, "You know them people, what do they like to be called? Oriental Chinamen. You know they cannot drive, but they sure can paint a pretty toe." While he's painting her toes. And don't get these old people computers or iPads because you will become tech support. And these old people wake up at 3 a.m. for their bowel bonanza. Grandma got an iPad. I regret the day. I'm tech support. She wakes me up the first time, 2 o'clock in the morning, our time, and she's already at a 12. I'm asleep, and she's like, honey, I need your help. I cannot get on my Wi-Fi. You gotta help me. I'm trying to watch a cooking show. It's called 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Because my cousin is an asshole. I think, like all of us in here, everybody responds about when I say, do you have these crazy old people in your family? And if you think about it, we really do think that they're crazy, but they're also kind of badasses because it's a different generation than we are, right? My grandparents were married for 55 years. Isn't that crazy? Because back then, you didn't divorce them, you shot them. And he died 3 years ago. She didn't shoot him, according to the court documents. He had dementia. This was the moment, you guys, I really got my grandma's heart. I went to her because I felt sorry for her. You know, I was like, I felt pity. And I said, Grandma, I'm so sorry. How do you even live with that? You know, that you had to take care of his every need and his bodily function and everything for the last 3 years of his life. And this woman looked me dead in the eye with a little twinkle, and she goes, so for the last 3 years, he thought I was Art Garfunkel. It's the home perm. We got 52 amazing years out of that. And I thought, how freaking cool is that perspective? Because we don't think like that anymore. We don't notice the good. We only notice the bad. And I started thinking, my grandparents have been teaching me lessons like that my whole life. Even after he got dementia, my grandfather taught me that if you walk into an Applebee's and you tell them that your shoes are about to explode, you will get a table right away. Even the week that he died, my grandma called me. She was so excited because he saw her climbing one of those little ladders to change a light bulb. He stopped her. You guys, he could barely stand up at this point. And he climbed that ladder while she held it. And he changed that light bulb for her. And that taught me true love. And how many old people it takes to screw in a light bulb. I think one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through was last summer. I had to go to North Carolina, and I had to visit Grandma Jean's grave for the very first time with Grandma Jean. Are old people doing this here? Okay, you guys don't know about this. Old people are putting up their headstones early and decorating them. It's like elderly scrapbooking. It has her name, her birth year, a dash, and coming soon. She wanted me to take her picture with it. For her Christmas card. Think about that, you guys. 55 years with someone. We don't do that anymore, right? Like 55 years, what would that take? You know, my grandma gave my grandfather her heart, her soul, her life, her love. One time she gave him an enema. I told you guys she will just say anything, so she told me all about that at dinner last Thanksgiving. Yeah, I reacted that way. I was like, why would you do that? An enema should not be a team-building effort. We can cut this, but this stool is so short that I went to sit and I went. That was crazy, right? Like 55 years, it blows my mind. So my grandma, she gave him an enema. I found out about it at dinner last Thanksgiving. And Grandma was sitting right here, and she started to tell me the story. And she said that my grandfather was having what she called a prostate scare. And I don't know what that means because it sounds like something that happens on cell block C at midnight. So he goes to the doctor with his prostate scare. First thing that the doctor tells him is that he should go home and do an enema. And obviously he thought, I should invite some people. So I'm at the Thanksgiving table, my whole family's there, my grandma's right here, and I'm right there to her right, and she just launches into the story like I'm not vomiting turkey into my napkin. So I'm sitting on the edge of the bathtub, and your papa is on all fours right in front of me, got his hiney hole just pointed at me. And I didn't have my glasses. At my age, this is like trying to thread a needle. So I pulled out my douche bottle. And I don't know what she means because to my generation, douche is an insult, not an insert. Apparently, my grandfather didn't like it either because she said in that moment, he turns around, he sees this cannon coming at him, and he goes, hey, you're not putting that anywhere near my rear end. Show some respect. I was in the Coast Guard. And it worked, and so they separate. She has to find a tool suitable for a seaman. Some of you are 5 years old like I am. And they come back together, and you guys, I knew in this moment that I was gonna put this on stage, even though she still doesn't really know that I do comedy about her at all. And I said, Grandma, what did you find that you could use? And she goes, a turkey baster. What's your first question? I go, Grandma, a turkey baster or the turkey baster? Totally ignores me. So I'm back on the edge of the bathtub. And you're Papa, back on all fours, right in front of me, got his turret locked and loaded, ready to go. And this time, unfortunately, I had my glasses so I could see it very well. And I could see because he was nervous, it's tight. It was so tight, it looks like his arms are crossed. So I knew I had to relax him to get it in, so I took the baster and I started making airplane noises. Wow. And it worked. It made him laugh, and now he's laughing and I'm laughing, but the problem is now his hiney hole is going winky, 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 winky. I looked away in terror. I looked back, it's still going winky, 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 winky. So I went for it. I put it in, winky, it popped out. I picked it up, I put it back in, winky, winky, it popped out. Picked it up this time, I was determined. I held it in. I held it, winky, it popped out. I made a homemade party blower. A lot of you came in here tonight thinking that you know what true love is. But you were wrong. Because that, people, that is true love. And why I'm a vegan. I was growing up with that level of love, you guys, that I could see that, you know, I wanted that. And that's why I think I ended up on that IHOP bathroom floor that night, because I just wanted love, right? And I had this whole moment when he screamed at me, "You're crazy like your mom," and I realized, oh my God, I was giving him power over me because I thought the worst thing in the world would be to be like my mom. And I saw myself, I'm like, oh my God, you are in hot pants, go-go boots, holding a vibrating hairbrush because you're on Molly at a pancake house at 3 a.m. Your mother is a beautiful artist who's a department chair and a full professor in the Middle East, and she's changing the lives of young women in the Middle East. And I realized it, and I just got it right then. And I pushed him down for the very first time and the very last time. And I stood over him and I said, I'm crazy, just like my mother. And he goes, yeah. And I said, thank you. Highest compliment you've ever paid me. And then I kicked him in the balls again. But I did it classy, like my mama taught me. Do you guys ever look back on your lives and you're just amazed that you're not dead? I was so wild. I just kind of gave you a window into who Rachel really was back then. I was so wild. I'm just amazed that I'm not dead. My mom always said, Rachel, Jesus protects idiots, fools, and retards, so you're covered. When she said that to me, I had another moment and I went, wow, you will just say anything. You're exactly like your mother. And my mom held up these 3 fingers and went, read between the lines. And I thought, damn, she even makes an insult a math problem. It was bad. Went through a bad time. My parents got divorced when I was a teenager. My parents, it's obvious, right? A hippie and a soldier. My parents cannot be together. They are diabetes and feet. And so you guys know, your parents get divorced when you're a teenager. That's like a starting gun for psychosis. And so in 2001, I overdosed on GHB, the date rape drug. I date raped myself. Don't applaud that. In my defense, I was asking for it. So my parents were like, no. And so they made me move to a backwoods redneck hellhole. The name of the place was Uncertain, Texas. You already know it, don't you? The people that lived there were very uncertain about dental floss and the Emancipation Proclamation. I was a girl in the South, right? And so I had 2 choices. Number 1, I could squeeze out future illiterate food stamp redeemers. Then spend my days trying to repack the deployed parachute my vagina had become. Or I could stay single, stay sane, and go for a blood alcohol content with a 3rd decimal point. Yes, I'm a dreamer. So I enrolled in a Baptist university because Baptist universities are just undercover alcoholic boot camps. Because Baptists pretend they don't drink like Scientologists pretend they're not gay. So I was 19 years old at the time, and so I found this bar that would serve me and my high-class taste, Boone's Farm, a double deuce of Colt 45, or a Zima with a Jolly Rancher dropped in. That's the one, yes. This place was cinder block, gator swamp. It was a Harper Lee wet dream. Oh, not a lot of reading, just like an Uncertain. This place, it really was. It had a bartender named Heather, and Heather was never not pregnant. But she always had a Marlboro, a Michelob, and a court date. So the first time I met her, she was pregnant, and I was like, oh my God, congratulations. For what? For the miracle of the baby Jesus trying desperately to claw his way out of your toxic uterus. Oh, little baby Junior. You want it. I don't want it because I'm pretty sure you're brewing a little flipper baby. You should learn to sew because Target doesn't carry one-legged onesies. Don't you ooh me? I checked for her baby shower. So I walked in on this particular night with these 3 steroid-inflated baseball players. First thing we notice when we walk in is that there's a new group of people inside drinking, which was weird because the Rocket Club didn't put out Groupons. The only new drinkers that came into the Rocket Club came against their will because they were in the womb. We're looking at this group of people, and one of the guys really stood out because he was massive, you guys. He was like 7 foot uncertain, covered in tattoos that were obviously self-done because they were backwards. You know the guy that had to become a white supremacist because his tattoos are so badly misspelled they look like German? He had a red mullet. Perm. It was parole hearing in the front, jail release partay in the back. His name was Bam Bam the Third. And Bam Bam fixated on me like a glitter bass boat. Wouldn't leave me alone, and so I notice that the ball players are scared because he's following me. So I get scared because the ball players are on steroids. Bam Bam is prison jacked. Steroids do not help in a fight. They are just like Viagra. The swell is misleading. And when it wears off, women feel sorry for you. So we know we have to sneak out, and so we do. We sneak out the front, we go into the parking lot, but he follows us because to an inbred fear, smells like barbecue. We go out to the parking lot. He comes out there. He doesn't come alone. He brings a guy with him named Crazy Rae. Crazy Rae was 4'8", 6'3" in his Klan hat. And Bam Bam was calling him Daddy. Oh yeah, their gene pool was a septic tank. Weirdest thing about Crazy Rae, I remember, was that his left eye just stared right at me, while the right one furiously spun around. It was weed on the left, PCP partay on the right. They're trying to scare us, right? And so they open up a trunk of an '88 Trans Am and they show us a bunch of guns. Because in Texas, a Trans Am is just a weapon vending machine. And I'm looking at these inbred idiots thinking, holy crap, we don't need stricter gun control, we need stricter birth control. Still trying to scare us. So then he invites us to a KKK meeting. I was already a smartass, so I asked him for a pamphlet. And he gave me one. Now I'm terrified. A bigot that's also literate? Holy crap. So our friend Duke grabs his truck. We jump into it. While it's moving, we skid in the gravel. We almost hit Bam Bam, who punches the hood of the truck and leaves a huge dent in the shape of a rebel flag. We take off. They jump into this Trans Am. They take off after us. Now we're in a Dukes of Hazzard hot pursuit. Dust is flying, banjo music is playing, and suddenly Ray Ray and them ballless ball boys was in a heap of trouble. Now, Uncertain does not have streetlights because the state of Texas promotes natural selection. So we pull off, we kill our lights. They don't see us, they keep going past. Where they were headed is an S-curve over railroad tracks. Well, you make a hard left and a hard right, so it's a swastika curve. But we lost them, so we go home. Not long after I got home that night, my stepsister at the time comes home, and she is flipping out. She came home from a Presbyterian speed date, and she... the least exciting of all speed dating. She did. She came home. Her name was Candace. She was freaking out. And she said that on her way home, she saw a car on fire by the swastika curve. And I had the brilliant, deductive reasoning of a 19-year-old girl. So I deduced that had nothing to do with me. Like, I had almost lost my life that night. The reason why we were so scared is because we found out before we ran out that they were there celebrating getting off on a technicality on charges of murder and rape, and it was in that order. They're not here. And so I knew, even as a young girl, I was like, God, I almost died. And I vowed in that moment that I would never go back to the Rocket Club. So the next night, I walked back into the Rocket Club because Zima is a jealous mistress. I walk in with the same guys, and the people that are hanging out in there are looking at us suddenly like we're freaks, which is kind of ironic because they look like they played the hokey pokey with a wood chipper. They just kept putting it in. They didn't get it back out. I beeline for Preggers McGregor's, who is holding her newborn baby, who is holding her Michelob. She gave birth to a cup holder. And I go up to her, and she's flicking her Virginia Slim ash into a Save the Children collection jar, which she always did, but I noticed that someone had taped a Polaroid of Crazy Rae and Bam Bam, and I go, Heather, what's going on? Are you okay? She just goes off. She's like, you think you're so fancy with your teeth. You want to know what happened to my future baby daddy last night? I'll tell you. They took off after you. They hit that swastika curve. They never turned left, and they got that Trans Am airborne and not in no good Burt Reynolds kind of way. Car hit a tree. It set on fire. Paramedics showed up. Crazy Rae was still inside burning. Eyeballs still a spinning. Oh, Bam Bam? Well, because his head stuck out them T-tops. He got decapitated. Right where his partay ended. Now, legend has it that there were 4 teenagers involved in the death of these murdering rapists. But who they are, to this day, remains uncertain. What I do know is that in the midst of the silence of that dark night in the swamp, a large man's head rolled down the street. Bam, 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 bam. I had to get out of there. Thank you, one guy. It was a little break. And I had to get out of there. And so I went to East Texas Baptist University for 2 years, and then I transferred to LSU. And I ended up graduating with 2 degrees in English and criminal justice. And then I moved to Los Angeles to become an actress, which made my dad become a cutter. He was like, criminal justice degree that took 9 years, and now she tells jokes to drunk people. And everyone knows girls aren't funny. Oh, he didn't use razors. He used my canceled tuition checks. He was recycling. So I came out to LA, and I think most of us are transplants. Like, we come out here and we have this dream because of movies of what Hollywood is like. I thought it was gonna be movie premieres and red carpet, and I'd date a guy with a house he couldn't tow away. And that's not what it was like when I got out here. You don't get movie auditions right away. You get commercial auditions. Here were my first 3 life-changing auditions. Metamucil, Imodium, and Tampax. Oh yes, baby, in less than 3 months, there was a new queen of excretions in town. So I told you what my dream looked like. Here was my reality. Hey, Rebecca, act constipated. And the thing that most offended me about that is my name is Rachel. So after my hopes and dreams had been Hindenburged, I got my first real audition. And it was for a company called Orangina, which is what Trump calls his penis. I like that joke. It's a joke about an orange penis, and you guys are like, so half of it, just split the audience right down the middle. Like, could we not, love him or hate him, come together in this room, in this moment, and all agree that we know that he has a tiny orange penis? I'm doing the Lord's work. I'm bringing the world together. Do you guys know what Orangina is? Nowhere else I work does anyone say yes. Of course in LA. If you don't know, Orangina, it's like a really pretentious Pepsi. It's like orange Pepsi except for Belgian man bun yoga instructors and drop crotch capris eating avocado toast made by their non-binary life partner. So like every dude in this room and in LA. But I was stoked, because it was like the first audition that I got that didn't have anything to do with leakage, you know? And I had this agent at the time, and she was this angry, drunk, chain-smoking Russian. Could have just said Russian. She calls me up, and she tells me that she just saw a non-union, non-speaking role as a deer. Yeah, I was like, wow, you're my agent, and you just saw a no-pay, mute version of the dumbest animal on the planet Earth, and you thought of me? Oh, thank you. The audition was the very next morning. I was so excited. I got up and I got dressed like I always do for auditions. I put on a skirt that barely cleared my taint. You know, slutty, but still deer-like. Oh my God, every time I get dressed for an audition, a hooker gets her wings. And I walk into this audition high-stepping, because I just moved from where I'm from in the South, from North Carolina. And where I'm from in North Carolina, I'm a 10, you know? Let me tell you who I come from, people. I had an Aunt Sally who was embalmed with a dip in her lip. I also had an Aunt Janice who used to sit and peel and eat sticks of margarine like a banana. Now do you see why I felt cocky? So I'm like doing the pimp walk. I'm like, whatever this is, I got this audition. Nobody can compare to me. I haven't been in LA long enough. I walk into the audition room and it's filled with 45 other hopeful deer sluts. And they're exactly like me, except they are in even shorter skirts. Their skirts were so short when the wind blew, their vaginas sounded like a jug band. Can I get a 19-year-old up here? I need a soprano. I am in this waiting room with women. If you've been in LA long enough and you're in the business, you know these women, the ones that hate you for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And they're always really skinny, and I think they're bitchy because they're hungry, because they're all on the Bataan Death March diet and the Trap-a-Husband diet. And they're all trying to claim their territory, so they're looking me dead in the eye, but they're violently doing Kegels. I am sitting there, you guys, and I am just avoiding the hateful stares of the twat squad. And I am just focusing on being the best hoe dear that I could possibly be. And they call me first. They didn't call me, they called Rebecca, but for the first time ever, I was like, I am Rebecca. Yes, take me, Jesus. Get me away from these bitches. Here I come. I hit the audition room, and it's just one other dude, the casting director. First thing he asked me to do is to take off my shirt. And so I did, because I'm a woman, because women have always had to show 30% more skin to get paid 30% less. But I did it. I'm a whore. I wanted the job, so I took off my shirt. He goes, great, Rebecca. I want you to walk back and forth in front of the camera in a bikini while you're drinking Orangina from a straw, you know, like a deer. So I'm doing it. But I am a woman in a bikini on camera, so I am sucking in so hard I could chew gum with my butthole. I'm like... And he stops me. He goes, okay, we cannot do that anymore. Just stand right here, right in front of the camera. We need to make sure that you can do big facial expressions because you're also going to have to wear a face mask as a deer. And I thought, oh my God, I got this. I can be stupid. I have no self-esteem. I gave that up 3 adult diaper auditions ago. Whatever this man throws at me, I got it. And he goes, great, Rebecca, do happy. And I'm like, damn it. Because happy is hard because I have dated men. I'm like, big happy, here I go, Daddy. And I go, I will never forget this. The guy goes, one word, disturbing. He goes, let's move on. Now I want you to do sad. And instantly I'm stoked because sad, that's what I do. I'm a woman born in the South who became a comedian with Southern Baptist and Native American ancestry. I have been method acting sadness my entire life. My Tinder username is Trail of Tears. No, I am. I'm half Native American and half British. I haven't traced my genealogy because I think I know how that went down. So I do sad masterfully. And he goes, great, Rebecca. Now I want you to do your O face. Do you guys know what that is? Does everyone know what that is? You dirty bunch of sluts, all of you. I didn't know what it was. I told you, small town, very religious, shame-based upbringing. Even now, when I have consensual sex, I call the cops. On speed dial. Not only did I not know what it was, I thought the man must have said, do your old face. I was like, okay, I've been acting for 2.5 months. I got this. And I pictured an old man with no teeth and osteoporosis. And he's on a cane, and he's expecting a sexy orgasmic deer, and I'm like, I'm about to ram old face right up your camera. And I look back at him, and he goes, do your O face, and I go. And the man looked stunned. And he goes, oh. And I go, yes. He goes, no. And I go, oh. And he goes, I'm sorry, I just asked you to do your O face. And I go, oh. Except I still don't know what it is. And I thought about it. I'm super literal, right? Criminal justice major. And I thought, O face. Oh my God, I'm clear now. This man wanted me to do the face of Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. Now we're on the same page. And he goes, great, Rebecca, let's forget that happened. Give me your best O face. Still expecting an orgasming deer. And I look back at him and I go, the dude's face just fell. Like he had Bell's palsy. He just goes, like he wanted to be away from me. And he just goes, no. And it was one of those really profound no's, you know, like I knew it wasn't just about my audition, but about moving to LA and becoming an actress and procreating and breathing. And he says, thank you. And that's speak. Everybody in here knows for this audition is over. And I'm surprised because I thought I was riding the wave. I pick up my shirt. I do the walk of shame out of the audition room. And right as I go through the door, and right before it clicks shut, I hear the man inside hysterically laughing. I stood there for a moment, alone in LA, like, wow, right? Like, wow. I nailed it! Oh, yeah. I knew he was calling Europe. He was high-fiving himself. They have found her. And I was feeling extra cocky. I go back by the Bambi bitches. I look them back in the eye this time with no fear, and I go, and I go home. I get home, and I was living with this comic at the time, and we had a gig together that night at Flappers in Burbank, and he's in the shower getting ready, and he's naked, looking like a sexy buck. 1 point. You guys, I ended up marrying that guy. Is that crazy that I got married? I know. It's so beautiful. I got married because I was tired of finishing my own sentences. And he sees me come in. He's in the business, right? And I'm new at it. And he leans out. He's excited, like a proud papa. And he goes, babe, oh my God, how did it go? And I was like, it was amazing. And he goes, well, tell me about it. And I said, well, they asked me to do my O face. And he instantly gets angry. And I don't know why. And he goes, that is such crap. They would never ask a man to do his O face. And I go, I know. Why would they steal from Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone? And now my boyfriend had the casting director's face. And I don't know why. And he leans back out of the shower and he goes, what did you do? Like, you don't have to be concerned. I've been doing this 2.5 months. I know what I'm... Well, actually, at first, I did think that he said, do your old face. So at first, I went... But then I realized that he said, O face. So then I went... I got it wrong the first time. Have you guys ever seen a naked man laughing? So hard. He is curled in the fetal position on the floor of the shower. He is holding, tears are streaming down his face, parts of him jiggling long after he stopped laughing. It was the only time I was fine with him peeing in the shower. And he coughed out the sentence that will haunt me for the rest of my life. He goes, he wanted you to do your orgasm face. You freaking idiot. And you looked that man right in the eye on camera, and you went. And somewhere out there is my career snuff film. I watched this man holding on to his own naked body because he's laughing so hard at me. And I looked at him for a minute and I go, oh my gosh, you're exactly like my mother. And I married her. And he stood up tears still coming down his face, and he got it, and he goes, "I'm just like your mother?" And I went, "Yes." And he goes, "Thank you. Highest compliment you've ever paid me." Thank you guys so much. To all the women that make this possible, that support me and inspire me every day, get your butts up here and take this credit right now. Janine, Mahogany, everybody, speed it up. Kelly. Carla. Shauna. Jill. Go this way. You guys, nothing gets done without a community, and these women inspire me every day, and they make this all possible. But more than anything, to the original alpha chick who cannot be here tonight, but she would kill to be here, my mama. Thank you guys. Give it up for them one more time. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.